Some stories were forgotten, others were buried, hidden in the shadows of history where almost no one ever looks. This is one of them. On September 26, 1983, at the height of the Cold War, the world was standing on the edge of something far more dangerous than anyone could fully understand. Tension between the United States and the Soviet Union had reached a level where even the smallest mistake could lead to catastrophe. Both sides were armed. Both sides were ready. And both sides were afraid of what the other might do next. Nuclear weapons were no longer just threats or political tools. They were real, active, and capable of ending millions of lives within minutes. And on that night, everything depended on a single moment and a single decision. Deep inside a Soviet military bunker, far away from the public eye and hidden beneath layers of security and secrecy, a man sat in front of a screen that monitored the sky. His name was Stanislav Petrov, and unlike generals or politicians, he was not someone the world would ever recognize. He was simply the officer on duty that night, responsible for monitoring the Soviet Union's early warning system. This system had one purpose: to detect incoming nuclear missiles and give the country just enough time to respond. In nuclear war, there is no room for hesitation, only time to react. The system was considered advanced, reliable, and precise, constantly watching for any sign of an incoming attack. And on that night, it would do exactly what it was designed to do. Without warning, the silence inside the bunker was shattered by an alarm. It was loud, sharp, and impossible to ignore. The kind of sound that immediately demands attention. The system had detected a missile launch. According to the data on the screen, the launch had originated from the United States. For a brief moment, everything inside the room seemed to freeze as Petrov stared at the display. Then, the situation escalated. The system updated its reading. It was no longer one missile. It was five nuclear missiles heading directly toward the Soviet Union. The protocol in a situation like this was clear, simple, and absolute. Petrov was expected to report the attack immediately, confirm the launch, and pass the information up the chain of command. Within minutes, a nuclear response would begin. Missiles would be launched in retaliation, and there would be no way to stop what followed. There was no time for debate, no room for doubt, and no opportunity to reconsider. Because in nuclear war, waiting too long could mean losing everything. The system existed to eliminate hesitation. But now, that responsibility was no longer just a system. It was a decision. As Petrov continued to look at the screen, something began to feel wrong. The numbers were there, the signals were clear, and the system was functioning exactly as it was designed to. And yet, something didn't make sense. 5 missiles. Only 5. He thought about it carefully. If this were a real nuclear attack from the United States, would they really launch just 5 missiles? Or would they launch hundreds, maybe even thousands, in a full-scale strike designed to eliminate any chance of retaliation? The logic didn't match the situation. The system was telling him one thing, but his instincts were telling him something very different. Time was running out, and the pressure inside the room was building with every passing second. Everyone was waiting for him to make the call. He had only a short window to decide what to do, and Whatever decision he made would carry enormous consequences. If he trusted the system and reported the attack, it could trigger a nuclear response. If he ignored it and it turned out to be real, his country could be destroyed without warning. He had to choose between following protocol or trusting his own judgment, between reacting instantly or questioning what he was seeing. And in that moment, the weight of that decision rested entirely on him. After a brief but critical moment of thought, Petrov made his decision. He reported the alert as a false alarm, not a confirmed attack, not a verified launch, just an error. It was not a safe decision, and it was not the expected one. It went directly against protocol, and it put him in a position of enormous personal risk. Because if he was wrong, there would be no time to correct it. There would be no second chance, only consequences. After making the call, all that remained was to wait. Minutes passed slowly, each one feeling longer than the last. Every second carried uncertainty, and every moment brought the possibility that he had made the wrong decision. The room remained tense and silent as everyone watched and listened for what would happen next. There were no explosions, no impact, no confirmation of an incoming strike, only silence and time continuing to move forward. Eventually, it became clear that something was wrong with the system itself. The missiles that had been detected never arrived. There was no attack, no launch, no war. It was later discovered that sunlight reflecting off clouds had interfered with the satellite system, creating a false signal that appeared to be a real missile launch. What the system had detected was not an attack, but an illusion. A technical failure that could have triggered a global catastrophe. Despite the outcome, Petrov was not celebrated for his decision. He was not rewarded or publicly recognized for what he had done. Instead, he was criticized for not following protocol and for relying on his own judgment rather than trusting the system. His actions were seen as risky, even dangerous, because they went against the procedures that had been put in place. For years, the details of that night remained hidden, classified, and unknown to the world. But the reality of what happened is difficult to ignore. If Petrov had made a different decision, if he had reported the alert as a real attack, the Soviet Union would have responded. The United States would have answered. And within hours, the world could have been consumed by nuclear war. Cities would have been destroyed. Millions of lives would have been lost. All because of a signal that was never real and a response that never needed to happen. But it didn't happen because one man chose to question what he was seeing instead of blindly following it. He chose to think, to hesitate, and to trust his own reasoning in a moment where hesitation was not expected. And that decision, made in a matter of seconds, may have changed the course of history. Some stories were forgotten, others were buried. This was one of them.